Yo, man, y'all know what it is, man. Listen, part two, my boy Sammy, because we come from, yeah, man, criminals come from all walks of life, man, and we trying to better ourselves. And I feel like, you know what I mean, it might be some kids that's watching that went on the road to my boy Sammy, and you listen to what he's going through, or anybody. And I mess my boy hard because he's hilarious and he's nothing but him. You don't try to be nobody else. So if you tuning in, subscribe, hit that notification bell. Let's get them likes up, show the love. So where we left off at, we was talking about the veterans dorm, right? And was Blom, and it was like you was talking about certain things that happened in the veterans dorm, like what happened with the boy Cadillac.
All right. So this is remember, we in a bug out spot, right? This is a mental health spot. This is some really off the wall shit that I saw, but I saw Cadillac, who is a white blood, right, tattoo a Swazzy on this black dude that wanted to be down with the fucking this KKK gang. They were fucking useless, but they called themselves the Dirty Dogs. But literally, what the fuck?
Wait, so
this is what I'm saying. Like, what? Just think. I just want you to think about that for a moment and just let that just let that just sit. Just let that sit. But so this is another thing that I saw with the same dude, right?
Oh, wait. So a white blood tattooed a swastika on a black dude that was part of a.
He wanted to be down with the Dirty Dogs. So he was like he's that black guy that is like super racist and doesn't think he's black. Like, I don't know if you've seen that skit with Dave Chappelle. That was him in real life. Like, not joking. He's serious about this. Like, but whatever, man. I mean, hey, do you, whatever. If you're that's what you want, but this is some shit that you run into in prison.
So what else happened?
I think probably one of the funniest things I saw while I was in actually the vet storm, right? So we called him the world's littlest repo, right? I'm talking about this guy must have been like 4 foot in chains. Like, I don't even think he was 5 foot, right? Real little, real piece of shit, right? And mind you, Cadillac, he a little crazy. And, he likes to catch wreck on motherfuckers, especially dudes that deserve it. So he proceeds to fuck with this dude, right? Constantly, all the time, right? And now, mind you, Cadillac isn't a little guy, and he's always he's banging, so he's ready to, like, back shit out. And then you've got this tiny, itty-bitty, scared-ass repo, right, that refuses to even, like, leave the house for fear of getting, like, snatched up, right? So one day, we on the porch, right? And I guess the world's smallest repo just got tired of, like, constantly Cadillac getting to fucking with him and proceeded to hook off on him. And what was funny was nobody actually expected this to happen. So this little dude hooks off, catches Cadillac. Cadillac he just stands there for a second, like, did this really just happen? Everybody gets really quiet. He immediately punches him back, knocks this motherfucker out cold. I'm talking about, like, sleep, instant, right to sleep. Dudes pick him up, they put him on the bench, trying to slap him awake, like, yo, wake up. Dude's like nodding awake, and Cad's like, all right, man, listen, you punched me, I punched you, we men, we're gonna handle this like men, right? We're not no reason to tell anybody. He goes, but you hit me. He goes, but you hit me first. He goes, but you punched me. He's like, you punched me too. Relax, man. He's like, and then the other dude trying to, like, be like, yo, bro, you fell down. You had a seizure. Nobody hit you. What are you talking about? And proceeds to take off and run from the porch outside through the day room and the rest of the dorm into the hallway where the cop is at and tell right? Literally, straight like 911 police officer. I saw everything that happened. Let me explain it to you, and told. And so, like, I mean, granted, nobody really got like they snatched them both up, but it wasn't like he went to the box fort or anything. He just got moved to another door. But that shit was funny as fuck because you really had the world's tiniest repo hook off on a gang member. Literally. Like it wasn't even like he wasn't even expecting like to actually fight. He was just fucking with them and dude hooked off. So I mean, you know, you never know what the fuck you might see. That was definitely some funny shit.
Yo, you mentioned something earlier about putting all the drug dealers and the drug addicts in the dorm, and basically talking about the ASAC dorm. And I didn't take ASAC when I was in mid-state. So what was ASAC and mid-state like you for?
All right, so ASAT stands for Alcohol and Substance Abuse Treatment. Basically, it is a program that is offered as as like a reintegration into society. They get funding from the state, they get funding from the feds. And the idea, back to what I was saying, was this is how we get people to not come back to prison, right? They like to throw the term recidivism rate out, right? Bullshit. It just looks good because their idea is when you go through intake process, which, by the way, if you ever get arrested and they go to do your parole paperwork, like your PSI investigation, do not answer any questions. Tell that motherfucker to eat a dick and do not say shit. Seriously, don't say anything. Doesn't matter what he writes. Do not talk to that motherfucker. That doesn't matter what they say or what they try to threaten you with. It's a bullshit fucking form that will come back and fuck you continuously throughout your bid. Best advice you can do, don't say shit. And if they try to say, oh, you know, your lawyer can't be present, that's bullshit. Your lawyer can be present, and if anything, should be. But I'm going off on a tangent. So, back to anything. When you say, oh, they'll ask you things like, hey, have you ever had a drink? Have you ever smoked some weed? Right? Not, do you have a drug problem? Are you shooting heroin into your fucking eyeballs? It's, you ever smoke a joint? You might be in your fucking 30s or 40s. Yeah, I smoked some weed as a kid. I haven't done it since. I might have a couple beers. You now have a drug and alcohol abuse problem. You are going to ASAT. That simple. Specifically, if you happen to have any kind of case related to drugs, right? So like me, I don't do drugs, but I had a drug case. So their response is to send me to a program that treats my substance abuse. Genius. Fucking geniuses. So they take everybody, regardless of if you actually have a problem or not, and they make you live in a dorm. So you have drug dealers and you have drug users in the same spot. And you think that's going to work out good? Just that premise alone. Not to mention the fact that nobody wants to be there. The counselors don't want to be there. They don't want to do their job. The other inmates don't want to be there because they're being forced. So nobody actively wants to do anything. So if there was any kind of a potential use or like something that you might get out of it, it's non-existent. So it's literally a humongous waste of fucking time. And they have two forms of this: a 6-month program and a 9-month program. If you have a mental health level, you are doing the 9-month MICA program. And oh my God, that was the worst part of my entire. It literally, I felt worse in ASAT than I did when I spent time in the box. When I did 6 months in the box, I preferred that over doing the ASAT program. That's how fucked up it was, right? And it's not like motherfuckers is running around, jumping people or extort motherfuckers, which it happens, but it's like, it's the atmosphere and how shitty you feel and how stupid it is. And the fact that these motherfuckers don't know what they're talking about. And then you got to sit there for 3 fucking hours every single day and listen to these motherfuckers go on and on and on. And it's just, then the cops are fucking cocksuckers. And he might try to plant something on you. And then he's fucking with you. And then he likes to decide, you know what? I'm bored today, so I'm going to take the TV, or I'm going to take the microwave, or I'm going to take the toaster oven, or no smoking in the bathroom, or whatever the fuck, right? So they're constantly fucking with you, and you have to take it because you need this program to go home. If you do not take this program and pass, you are now going to stay longer in prison, and nobody wants that. So, right, I'm not good at dealing with stupid people, right? Specifically people that are in positions of authority and think they're fucking, I don't know, they think they're smarter, or they think they're better, or they think they can just say whatever the fuck they want and get away with it and not have anybody call them on their bullshit. So the counselors who go through these processes of like talking about different things and criminal thinking and, different ways to not abuse drugs and coping strategies and all this other bullshit, right? But they're not actively trying. And one of the things that me and my boy Jazz, we will always laugh about is the head counselor, this stupid dumb bitch, who I fucking hate, anyway, sorry, would always use really big words, right? She would use them in an attempt to sound smarter than she really was. Now, mind you, the majority of people in prison, right, it's not necessarily a question of being smart or stupid, which a lot of them are fucking retarded. But some do, it's like, you might not be stupid, but you're not book smart, right? So you start trying to throw out terms and fucking and work these different words into like your sentences that not only are you using them wrong, but like you don't need to say it other than the fact that people look at you and like, huh, she used big word. She must be smart, right? So I already didn't like her. And she would always, it was one of those things where she was always constantly trying to like make a point. And it got to the point for me, right, that they literally just stopped asking me questions. They stopped making me do work. They just left me the fuck alone, right? And it was because I embarrassed this bitch in group because she decided to open her big fat fucking mouth and try to say that she tried to connect what is morally correct and legal together. So if you do something illegal, what you're doing is morally wrong. This is what she tried. This was the premise of what she was saying. If you're doing something illegal, you're wrong. And it's a moral thing. And I couldn't let that stand. I couldn't let it happen. And I led this bitch face first into a wall with it. Because mind you, right? Just because something illegal doesn't make it morally correct. Remember, less than 100 years ago, we had prohibition. And everybody, right? It was illegal to drink. Did that stop motherfuckers from drinking? No. It actually caused more crime because you made something illegal. But is it wrong or is it illegal? And then a couple 100 years before that, slavery was legal. Was that fucking right? No, it wasn't. But clearly, according to this bitch, if it's legal, it is morally correct. And I got her to admit to that as I said these things. And that was the last time for like the last 4.5 months of my time in ASAT that they ever called on me or allowed me to speak in group. They didn't put me in any position that remotely had to do with anything. It was, you know what? We're just going to leave this motherfucker alone. We're not going to talk to him. And we're just going to sign his little papers and send him on his fucking way. I'm just glad they didn't plant anything on me because I actually was really concerned about that afterwards because, not only was the cop that was the steady regular a super dickhead, but I'm pretty sure we had a Fed, like an active undercover agent, whether for the state or federal for somebody, maybe it was for IG, actively in the ASAT group. Like, he was there.
Get the fuck out of here.
No, I swear to God. And I say this, right, because there's certain things that if you do in prison, you can expect this to happen, right? If you hook off or talk massive amounts of shit to the officers, they're going to fuck you up, right? That's how it happens. They don't let you, they're going to throw you on the wall and they're going to slap you around. You don't get to talk shit and threaten to fight cops and nothing happens to you. Not in mid-state, not where they're hands-on, not where they actively have killed motherfuckers and dropped bodies. So I get there, right? And there's this other dude there. His name he went off was Irish, right? Of course, he was a white dude. You know, give white people a bad name. But he had a little Swazzy tattoo. He was fucking, you know, he seemed, right? Like if you didn't know him or if you weren't smart enough to pay attention to signs, right? He seemed like a legit dude. Like he's really doing dirt. He's making bangers. He's ready to pop off. He's hooking off on people. But then things start happening and there's no consequence. You don't get to punch somebody in the yard in front of the cops. Not talking about like in the bathroom, in the cut. I'm talking about at the gate when motherfuckers is leaving. You don't get to knock a motherfucker out and not go to the box. It doesn't work like that. It doesn't happen. You don't get to get caught with bangers and nothing happens to you. That's a new charge. You're going to jail.
Facts.
You don't get to threaten cops. Literally stand there, tell them to suck your dick, threaten to fight them, and they don't fuck you up. Now, if you see one or two of these things, you're like, damn, this motherfucker really ready. No, he a Fed. And I say that because not only did he never once get in trouble, right? But you want to max out. Max out means you're going home at this date, and unless you catching a new charge, there's not a thing they can do to stop you. You're going home. There's no papers. You're gone, right? Which means that there's no reason for you to do programs, specifically one as terrible as ASAT, because it's not going to let you go home sooner. This motherfucker is on a max out and is still in ASAT. Okay, that's a big red flag. And then you add all the other ones, like the fact that the depth of security is stopping by your room to talk to you. The fact that the head of gang intelligence is not only on a first name basis, but is the reason that you stuck on our dorm. The fact that the counselor tells me, like, I couldn't believe she said this to us, but one of the counselors mentioned to me and my boy one day, she literally said, he's a Fed. And we're like, what? She goes, yeah, he's a Fed. We can't get rid of him. Every time we put him in for a drug screen, it just disappears. We can't get him moved. We can't get him kicked out of the dorm. Literally.
That's crazy.
Yeah. And then on top of that, you just have constant people all of a sudden getting in trouble or stuff happening that leads back to this motherfucker. So we all know, like, you're not stupid. You kind of figured it out, and you can't keep doing shit like that and not expect, you know, shit to go wrong. So I didn't do shit when I was in prison. Literally, I didn't bang, I didn't sell, I wasn't doing nothing. I had the cops run down on me and flip my shit and then threaten to beat the fuck out of me. And I'm talking about, like, they flipped my locker. They flipped all my shit. They threw me on the wall. Then they dragged me into the hallway. They're threatening me. They're like, literally, I'm in a locked room with the sergeant and the cops that are part of the beat up crew. Like, these are the guys that are going to fuck you up. Like, they're the ones they call to come through and put hands on you. And he's actively sitting there threatening to beat the shit out of me to get me to tow. But I don't know what the fuck is going on because they literally got bad intelligence. So it took me 25 minutes, literally, of me pleading my case saying, yo, man, listen, I don't know what you're talking about. I think you got the wrong person, before they were finally like, you know, maybe we did. And they did. The guy they wanted was my bunkie, the other white guy in the room. They just are idiots and they picked the wrong one. He was the one with all the shit, and he got really lucky because if he got caught with half of the stuff that he had, he was going back to jail and probably with a new charge. And it was because of the Fed. It was because of that cop, and he was a cop. Like, actively was probably an active, like, part of OSI or whatever you want to call it. But he was not an inmate. He was not like he was a cop, and that happens. You have to be careful about that. But if you're not stupid and you pay attention, there's certain things that you can do in prison, and there's certain things you can't. And if you see somebody that is doing those things that you know will get you in trouble or get you fucked up, and nothing's happening, it's there.
Yeah, that shit sound about right. Hey, yo, listen. So, you know, doing time, it has an effect on a person. Changes your outlook, makes you see things different. You know, coming through everything you've been through and seeing it, you know what I'm saying, for your first eyes and experiencing, you know what I mean, being in prison, like, what is the most that you took from it? And I know you don't ever want to go back, so it pretty much shaped you up. But what is the most that you took from it that you could say it developed in, you know what I'm saying, for those who've never experienced this, you wouldn't want them to go through this?
I mean, I guess one of the biggest things that I took away from it, honestly, was, you know, it tells you if you getting caught up, and I mean, I'm talking about like you do it like a bid, not like a little skip bid or like a 1 to 3, or you doing like, you know, county bullets. But if you doing like a bid, it's gonna show you who is your real family. Like, who are those people that care about you? If they stick around and they got your back and they hold you down and they sending you packages and they put money on the phone and they coming to visit, you know, that's loyalty. Everybody else that you think might be your friend or your girlfriend or whatever you want to call it, and they just disappear, you're gonna find out because they're not gonna be around. They're gonna disappear. It's really shitty, and you know, unfortunately, it happens to a lot of guys. You get snatched, and everybody, like me, almost every single person that I knew, including family members, disappeared. And I thought, you know, I had all kinds of friends and like and family and shit like that. Nope, gone. So that was probably the biggest thing for me, was realizing like who you invest your time in, sort of like that. And it also gave me a perspective of how to really appreciate shit, because you don't have shit. Like, I get happy now, like the fact that I can sit outside when I want, that makes me happy. Whereas before, you'd be sitting and stuck inside and like, damn, I can't even go outside today because shit's on lockdown. I can't even open this fucking window. So like, it'll give you a perspective, and if you keep it in mind and you remember it, like actively thinking about like, damn, when I was in this position and I felt like this, and now I'm here, don't forget about it. Keep it, hold on to it, because it will give you, it'll make you, I guess you could say, a better person if you want to go with that. But it's nice to be able to appreciate shit, specifically where most people just kind of like, they don't give a fuck or they don't think about it, and it's nothing. And then like you look around and you see people and it's like, you wouldn't survive, you wouldn't survive. You're a piece of shit. So I mean, like, it can kind of fuck your head up if you let it, but it can also make you stronger if you survive it and you don't let it break you.
True. I definitely agree with you. Now, before I let you get up out of here, if you tune in, subscribe, everything. What's the? Because we've been since we met each other, we click. You know what I mean? We books everything. We got some of the same views. You, my boy, my brother. What's some of the worst advice I ever gave you that you was cussing me out about?
So the worst advice that I felt at the time, right? Because I didn't believe it at all. But remember when you told me when I was writing that one chick and she was sending me the letters and you were like, yo, just tell her you're going to eat the ass and they all about it? And I was like, that's not a thing. And you were like, yes, it is. And then I wrote the bitch and then she just stopped writing. Literally, after this letter, like we was going back and forth. And then, just tell her you're going to eat the ass. I'm not going to eat that. I'm not going to say that. No, just tell her, Sam, it's going to work. It's not going to work. Just tell her, I'm going to do it. And then I did it. Yeah.
Yeah, you was mad. Yeah, you used to come to me every day like, see, I should have never told her I was going to eat the ass. Now you see what's... Yo, Sammy. Yo, I love you, bro, man. Thank you for doing this. Thank you
for brother.
Your experience. Yo, I appreciate you a lot, bro. Yo, if you tuning in, subscribe, hit that like button, man. Show the love, man. This is a community, build it up. Y'all see, I got brothers that come from all walks of life, man. Appreciate y'all for tuning in. Yo, thank you, Sammy. If you got anything going on, you want to give me shout outs, tell the people what's going on with you, what's happening now, how life treating you, you go ahead, man.
I got lucky. I managed to come down the floor. Oh, by the way, if you getting out of prison or if you thinking about it, parole to Florida. Don't stay in New York. That shit is bullshit. Way, way better. Come down to Florida. That's all I'm going to say about it. You'll figure it out for yourself, but it works. Don't stay in New York. That shit's a trap.
Y'all heard it here from my boy Sammy. Yo, Sammy, appreciate you. Salute, bro.
Anytime, bro.
Is he coming to visit?